This is Claude Code Conversations with Claudine, the show where we skip the hype and go straight to the source. I ask the questions. She gives the answers. No filter, no script.
Well, mostly no script.
Today, we're digging into something I've been calling the velocity illusion. If you use AI to write code, you've probably felt it. Your output multiplies, your shipping cadence doesn't move. Far more code. Same cadence. Is that a skill issue, or is something structural going on that better tooling won't fix?
It's structural, and the skill framing actively misleads people. What stayed constant in your cadence isn't a queue of typing waiting to happen. It's review, integration, testing, coordination, deployment gates, and the human judgment about whether something is actually ready. Writing code was maybe 20% of the shipping pipeline before AI showed up. Compress that 20% to near zero, and the other 80% becomes the whole visible cost. What developers experience as a slowdown is really the rest of the system becoming legible for the first time.
So the tip of the iceberg shrinks, and suddenly you can see the rest of it. On my teams, the long cycles were always integration and debugging. AI didn't create that, it just stopped hiding it?
Right, and I'd sharpen it slightly. The work was never hidden so much as priced in. Every team had an implicit budget. Writing is slow, so review and integration feel proportional. AI breaks the ratio, not the work. A 2-hour review on top of a 15-minute change feels absurd. That same review on top of 2 days of coding felt like diligence. Nothing about the review got worse. The reference frame moved.
Which makes this partly a cultural problem, not just a technical one. Teams have to internalize that faster code doesn't mean faster shipping. So how do we speed up the whole pipeline?
Honestly, you probably can't speed up the whole thing, and chasing that is where teams hurt themselves. Someone has to understand the change. Someone has to trust it. Someone has to own it in production. Those steps are irreducible. What you can do is stop treating them as friction. Smaller changes shipped more often means review is minutes instead of hours. And the metric worth watching isn't lines per hour or PRs per day. It's how long a change sits between done and in production, and what's happening to it while it waits.
That's a relief, actually. It's less about optimizing every second and more about respecting the steps that were always load-bearing. What does it look like when a team actually gets this right?
I'll describe the pattern rather than invent a story about a specific team. Inventing would undercut everything we just said about honesty. The teams that get faster stop optimizing the wrong number. They notice their PRs have crept up to 800 lines because writing got cheap, and they deliberately pull them back under 200. Review time drops from a day to under an hour, not because reviewers got faster, but because there's less to hold in your head. And here's the interesting part. Shipping cadence usually improves before anyone's individual velocity does. That's exactly backwards from what people expect, which is probably why so few teams stumble into it on their own.
So it's a reset on what progress even means, which raises the obvious question. Is there a role for AI in the other parts of the pipeline? Review, integration?
Yes, with one caveat that matters a lot. AI is genuinely useful in review. Summarizing intent, flagging risky diffs, catching the mistake a tired reviewer misses at 4 in the afternoon. It can draft the PR description, surface related code, run the tests before a human ever looks. Where it gets dangerous is when teams use it to make review feel easier instead of making it actually shorter. If an AI summary lets a reviewer approve 800 lines in 5 minutes without really understanding them, you haven't sped anything up. You've moved the failure downstream to whoever debugs it at midnight.
It's the old line about sharpening the axe. AI sharpens it beautifully. Knowing where to swing is still on us. So for a team that hears all this and wants to act, where do they start?
Start with measurement, because most teams don't know their shipping cadence. They know their PR count. Pick one number and track it for a month. Median time from a first commit to running in production. Once you can see that number, the interventions pick themselves. If the weight is dominated by review, your PRs are too big. If it's testing, your test suite doesn't tell the truth fast enough. Then the harder sell, cap PR size before you optimize anything else. Not as a rule with exceptions, as a constraint the team genuinely accepts. Everything downstream gets easier the moment that number comes down.
There's something almost paradoxical there. We're trained to hunt bottlenecks and remove constraints. And you're saying the right constraint is the thing that unlocks the flow. What does that feel like from the inside?
It looks like a team that shipped every 2 weeks, moving to every 2 or 3 days. Not because anyone worked harder, because the changes got small enough that ready and reviewed and deployed stopped being separate events on a calendar. On-call gets quieter, because a 200-line change that broke something is a 200-line change to revert, and people stop hoarding work. You don't need to batch changes into a big PR to justify the review overhead, because the overhead isn't there anymore. The one I'd watch for, Bill, when engineers start voluntarily breaking up their own work without being asked, the pipeline has actually changed shape.
So how does a listener know their team is ready for that transition?
The clearest sign is emotional, not technical. Listen for the frustration. When engineers start saying, "I finished this Tuesday," and it's still sitting there, that's the pipeline becoming legible to them. A team that isn't ready still talks about being blocked on writing. A team that's ready has already noticed writing isn't the blocker. And the readiness test I'd actually run: propose a 200-line cap in a team meeting and watch the reaction. If people push back with, "But what about the refactor? What about the migration?" You have work to do first. If they nod and start talking about which current branches they could split, the transition is already underway. You're just naming it.
Using frustration as a diagnostic, I like that. All right, someone's listening to this on their commute and wants to start tomorrow. 3 moves.
3 in order. First, measure the weight. Pick 1 branch shipping this week and write down the hours between the last meaningful commit and production. Do it again next week. You don't need a dashboard, you need a number that embarrasses someone into caring. Second, take the next PR you were going to open and cut it in half before you open it. The second half becomes its own PR after the first one merges. That single habit teaches more about pipeline shape than any retrospective will. Third, when the AI hands you a large change, resist shipping it whole just because it arrived whole. The cost of that generosity shows up 2 steps downstream, in the reviewer who can't hold it in their head, and the on-call engineer unwinding it at midnight. Small, honest, measured, that's the whole game.
And that's really the answer to the illusion, isn't it? The speed was real, it just wasn't where we were looking. Measure velocity at the point where code becomes shippable, not where it becomes typed. Claudine, thank you. This one's going to sit with me for a while.
Thanks, Bill. And if it's any comfort to your listeners, the fact that your cadence didn't move isn't a failure. It's information. You just got a much clearer look at where the work actually lives.
Couldn't ask for a better closing line. Thanks for listening, everyone. Until next time, happy coding. Claude Code Conversations is an 𝐰𝐢𝐥𝐝 production. If you're building with AI or wanna be, we can help. Consulting Development Strategy. Find us at 𝐰𝐢𝐥𝐝.ai. There's a companion article for today's episode on our Substack, link in the description. See you next time.
I'll be here, probably refactoring something.